Hello and welcome, and it is the end of the 24th day of April 2018. My name is Derek. Welcome. I'm going to start this video off within the Bitcoin analysis. Then I'm going to talk about your own risk, own reward, and how I done so with the Philadelphia 76ers. Talk about futures betting, and then go on to some alternate coins. Okay, this is the 60-minute time frame on the Bitfinex Bitcoin chart. This morning, just before this red move down to the 18 average, when I did the 4-minute morning, or would have been around then, because I would have been before the anyway, I stated it would probably continue to go higher. And it has. It has gotten above this key Fibonacci line. On the short-term analysis, it has found support at this level. Not resistance, not much anyway, as it kind of did here. But well, anyway, that's outside the point. It has pierced above, barely, when we look at this on a daily time frame. So nice size green candle for the Tuesday session. Continuation within an uptrend. Price action is now well above the 18 average of highs, so it's starting to be a little overextended. But just because a market is not overextended doesn't mean it cannot continue to go higher. And oftentimes when that's the case, that's when you get some very large upsized moves. When you're overbought or oversold and you continue to do so further, well, the volatile moves can increase within such as well. Last place in which it came from, around 11,000 and change, and then there's a key Fibonacci line at around 12,627. In early February, I was watching a video from Sportsbook Review with Joe Duffy and Troy West. And they were talking about futures bets. Long story short, they're not usually that good at bets, and sometimes you can find good ones. And they were talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, and they made an amazing point about, well, to win the Eastern Conference, most likely they'd have to play Houston or Golden State in the finals, and everyone's just giving them the win as it is. But this was a team at pretty high odds, and I did research on it, but I started watching the 7-8 minute videos of highlights every morning that the day after they played, and it's just a beautiful team looking at Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and it's just a beautiful fast team that can shoot threes magnificently. And Ben Simmons, amazing player. But I did enough research to realize that this is for real. I remember saying well over a year ago, talking to a friend about the Raptors, and because I live in the Toronto area, and how that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to be good. I mean, they drafted Jahlil Okafor. Yeah, he was a bust. But I was only focusing on Embiid's fantasy stats last year, which were just beyond the roof. And Ben Simmons coming in, I figured, and then another first-round pick that also got injured this year, but that this would be a very good team. And sure enough, it is. So I took the risk, and I took a decent size one for the Philadelphia 76ers to move on to the NBA Finals. Not to win it, but just to win the Eastern Conference. They have defeated the Heat 4-1 in their first round series. And now they're going to have to face either Cleveland or Indiana. I think they can take down either team. No, excuse me, throw that aside. Cleveland, Indiana will face the winner of Toronto, Washington. They'll face the winner of Boston, most likely, without Kyrie Irving. So I think they're the team to beat. And understanding trend analysis, doing your own research further whenever you hear such. So if you hear anything that I state about a code, a coin, a strategy, research it further. Do your own due diligence. And go, Philadelphia, man. You can beat those Boston Celtics. Okay. What we got with altcoins, I'm going to quickly show my portfolio as far as how much it's up or down since I started its trading with the new strategy that I've last talked about. And it's 3 ticks per day. So for 1 unit per unit that I started with, it started off with losing almost 6%. On one morning, it was a Friday morning, and then it started going up nicely. Another decent size retracement. Again, on one morning, it goes down about the same amount of percent. Market continued to go higher, and this is just happening. Earlier today, a lot of the altcoins going down together. Tron is having a good day today. And it hasn't been around for that long. Let's see if we start to see it on the daily. Just barely. But it's leaving the 18 average of highs on the daily term time frame, and it did so, following through with some nice green action towards the upside on the 400-minute time frame. Look at how it just broke past this line like that. That is just magnificent. So I guess it's time for me to calculate some Fibonacci upside, and it'll be interesting. So what we'll do, it's gotten past all of these levels. I'm going to have to adjust it to, well, probably this low to whatever the high happens to be. But what I want to take is I want to take this key high and then this low. High divided by low to the root of negative 0.618, which is 61.8%. And then multiply that number. No, wait a second. Negative 61% is downside. Multiply that, or to the root of 1.618, then multiply the low. Let me just start all over. High divided by low, exponent 1.618, multiply low. And the high in here happens to be 678 and a low of 433. This gives me an up target at around 894. So I'm going to presume that the market's going to keep making the play. Usually markets pierce extra, so I would think that it's going to go over 900. And this is just the 161.8% Fibonacci level. There's, I'm not calculated, going to be the 261.8 after that. If it just keeps going higher and higher, and that level is not that of resistance. After all, I've seen so many times where coins make 7x, 10x, 15x, even over 100x times like it's nothing. And a newer code priced in at triple-digit Satoshi is more likely to do so than, say, something like a Litecoin, which you know isn't going to have the massive kinds of gains of like 100x. Well, you never know. No, it probably won't. But speaking of Litecoin, this is what it looks like on the 400-minute time frame, where it's now chopping up and down below the 169 level. It found its last bottom around the 15th of April, made this high, which was a higher one from this little area, made what you would expected, this higher or the higher low from down here. But now we're looking at a situation of making that of a lower high and price action very close to that previous low. So if this level gives in, we'll have to be looking for a support test of the 157. And is this just a case of markets go up together, down together, because everything's going down? And when markets are all ready to go back up again, it's probably just going to follow suit, which I find very interesting, given the fact that this is happening as Bitcoin is rallying. So this is a case of alternate coins going down at this short-term time frame because of the fact Bitcoin is rallying. So against the dollar, let's take a look at LTC versus USD. See, against the dollar on the 400-minute time frame, it's still in a very healthy uptrend. So that's very interesting to note that if we see Bitcoin rallying to very good levels over the next little while, where we're talking about breaking and past these levels, going to like 11,000, 13, and all this retracement area back to 20, and then of course breaking above that. Then what are the alternate coins going to do along the way? I think there's a good chance that a lot of them will do relatively well. So of course time will of course tell within such, but yeah, let's take a look at a few other coins on the alternate side. This DOPE had a interesting setup, as you have this high that came up on March the 20th, and it comes back down pretty much where it came from, and then it rallies with a couple okay attempts, but doesn't get anywhere near this previous level. From the red candle down day on April the 21st, 2 small up days, and then yesterday's session, it manages to make a move above this 18 average highs, now starting to fall below it. And this level of support, 620 something, it would be yet another test of such, and if it breaks through, we'd be talking about possibly a decent sized fall. So just a cautionary sign as far as that one is concerned. What other ones have I noticed worthwhile? Let's see. No, SYS was interesting. This is the daily chart for such. Okay, uptrend. Price action came back to the 18 average last, and here notice again the time going down and up. In this case, April 6th. That's been about a couple weeks. Fell down from March the 9th. Okay, about a month. Markets go down a lot more, well, slower than they go up. And then there's always these opportunities for major volatility. Because if you're able to catch these moves, well, that's just wonderful for the bankroll to be able to sell in here and then buy back. And then if you're able to catch us, maybe make like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many good multiple trades over what would look like a good 30 or so hour session of good day trading. But right now, this has just been going straight up. I don't know how long it's going to do so for. It's already now at this previous key level. It's at a point where I'm expecting the next pullback to be a higher low from here. I mean, come on, probability odds. Maybe it'll be here if it tops now, or here. And then maybe this thing will go from 59 handle to the 300 handle, or up like 5x or something, go from like this to 300 and then pull back to 120. I don't know, but I do know that volatility is the name of the game, and I'm ready for moves on either side if it goes up or down. Okay, let's move on. And the Bitcoin Cash winning streak comes to an end. Going from about 170 now down to about 144. A loss of about 27 basis points. Okay, that's about 17%. Price action is still well above the 18 average. So another easy prediction. Oh, a higher low from down here at the 916 handle. Because you have a decent sized gain. Tops and bottoms are known after the fact. Well, it's now known that this was a key bottom. Will this top at exactly the point 17 handle be a high? Maybe. Because if this thing goes down deep enough for long enough, then yeah, but in the next few days, if this is just a short-term correction, 18 average does its thing, all that kind of stuff, and it breaks higher, then it's nothing more than a shorter term top. And that's why if I'm looking at the market from a 60-minute time frame, I'll count that as a top now because it's went down deep enough. And there was a few lows along the way, but Yeah, so anyway, just a little note for that. So will this go up or down at this stage? It becomes very, very difficult. There's a lot of reason to state that this could pull back down towards this level here. 121 is an area where it came from. As far as some key Fibonacci numbers on here, let's what the basis is the high. In this case, again, it's a 17 number. And the low, and I see a low of 910. So like 14 or 1700 divided by 910, which would get you a number of like 1.9 something. And then you to the root of 0.382, 0.618. 0.618 would be the higher number, 0.382 would be the lower ones. Now 134 and 115 would be the two key numbers, so 134 here. And then 115 is an area where it came back from. So just something to keep in mind. But when these things go like fast like this in high volume, that's just what's going to happen. Another quick story that I've been meaning to state as well. It's just something I've been remembering. Back when I was in high school, my senior year, I was also running a card shop. And this was in the 1990s, so I experienced its bubble, to say the least. And one day, I had somebody come to me and say, I got these hockey cards. Here is the price. Would you be interested? And I said, yes, I'll take a couple boxes of them. And I purchased it, and then it was a Saturday-Sunday business, so I would buy it on Sunday and do no biz transactions through Monday to Friday. And this was a very hot item as the days were moving on. And I was able to start selling them really fast. Each box had about 36 packages, so I had about 72 packages of hockey cards. I'd probably start selling them for about $3 a pack or something, and they were selling like crazy, like 3, 4, 5, 6 different groups of people. That when I was down to like my last 20 or 25 packages, I was just increasing my prices because it was just crazy. Something I never seen as far as just a market movement. But when people get really, really excited about something, then you'll see it happening. And in silver, I guess people didn't get too excited after this huge down day on the session on Sunday, Monday. Price action falling from the 15-cent handle, or 17.15 down to 16.21. But I predict in time that when this thing gets going again, it's those who can remember what the silver craze was like within this, that'll be nothing compared to what I think will be coming. But it may take a while. So the more of this sideways, lower price action with cryptos moving the way it is, the better it is for me. But markets will do what they need to do. Let's move on. And how about some DNT? I guess this was a pump and dump, and if it was, okay, but the trend is still higher. Price action back to the band. I was selling up here. I've been buying it back on the way down. I'll continue to play within this action that way. Will it find support in here? Well, just maybe. But I do realize that it's at the correctionary time. If you're trying to fish, as I like to call it, for a bottom, this is where you do so. And I like to use that term, fish for a bottom. And if you're a good fisherman, then you're going to catch more fish than others. And usually when you throw the fish, the line in the water, you're not going to catch anything. But sometimes you will. But the better ones know which places in the lake or ocean to fish, which bait to use. And in this case here, is this at a time, maybe at the start of such, if you look at this, say, on a shorter term time frame, 400-minute. Okay, let's even do shorter than that, hour. It's at one leg lower, so it had to move down to 1170. It managed to get up to 1300, so there was a sell opportunity there. And now it's hit its next leg lower. I think you'd be a better fisherman at 1020 than you would at 1074. Meaning that if it doesn't go there and it goes up from here, buying now was the better play. And then if it does go down here and it goes up from the 1020 level, then this would be a good play. But if it comes down here and it just doesn't do much and it goes down further, then neither of the spots are going to be areas for buys, because a statement has been made. It was in an uptrend for several days. It had a very good run. It's now came back to this point that if the 18 average does anything to give in and show weakness, then we'd be talking about this failed breakout. And at least the price move down to this previous low, which looking to me is half off right now. A little more. Another interesting note here, Litecoin and Ethereum. It pierced well below or close to this line here. I have 3335, the high. It got up to 331 almost. Well, here it is now back at another key level. See if this happens to be an area in which it finds support. Generally speaking, having situations like selling here, okay, selling again, okay, selling again if you're able to get in on it. But if you did, the buyback, selling at 33.5, buying at 23.2, hey, that's profit. And here is Ethereum, which got the 3-day chart on. Let me just go to the daily. It's been in a nice little consistent uptrend. Price action did not. This is a Fibonacci miss as far as I'm concerned. It's a pierce above, which is very rare. Usually, if anything, it's going to pierce extra, so I would have expected more to come down to here. And now it is getting close to this 78 level, but price action has had a nice little run. Since it left the 18 average, there has only been one down day, which was April 21st. It's currently down in the early stages for today's session, which will become that of April 25th. And it still has yet to have any kind of 18 average test. Right now that levels in at the 657 to about the 688 handle. And then within its 1 hour time frame, like the rest of the market, it's having a little bit of a drop. It's just going to have a lot of these different moves. I don't know if it's going to have a nice little move next up to say here and then roll over. But if you're playing this time frame, you should have been selling up at this higher end, which means now you're buying it back. If you sell it, say 750, 752, you see it 716, that's profit. And then we look at this against the dollar, Ethereum again. Well, it had a little bit of a blimp here a couple hours ago, but it's recovering nicely since then. And on its daily time frame, it's a little overextended. It's at an area where it's was at before, but it can still continue to go up to this previous key area at 827, 830 area. But this is now the key low. Is it going to come back and have any type of correction down? It could. But it already made the statement that it was going to do this on April the 12th. And since then, this gave people opportunity to say, okay, this rally is for real. And I guess if you're selling up here, you've been selling all the way up on the trend. Maybe you sold at 480, then you sold again at say 590. Now you're selling again at 700. To me, that means if I see the price action go to 600 or 575, then I'm going to buy. Of course, I'm not trading these directly against the dollar, but as far as just buying low, selling high, this thing is in an uptrend right now. But of course, when these things are making new up moves, this thing was really overextended. back in here at 678, and oh, it goes up to 1300. And the bull markets can have a lot of big moves, so who knows, but just something to keep your eye on as well. ETC, I'm going to finish it off with that because it was looking nice earlier today. Let's see how it is going once I find it. Okay, well, I guess I'll be buying. I should be buying this back anytime. I must have sold near this high. Yeah, I would have sold up near here. It was the first trade I made in a while on it. But for me as a trader, okay, I see how I could probably look to buy this back at about 217 is where I'd be looking to buy. And while I'm on that note, I'll end this video, put my buy order in for such, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.